Hello, good morning, and welcome to the newspaper review here on TAF TV. My name is Obed Jerry, your host for today, and yes, this is where we get to discuss with members of the streets. We get to see their reactions as regards different headlines making rounds on these newspapers. Well, you can also be a part of this show. Please subscribe to our channel if you are yet to subscribe. Turn on your notification button. Connect with us across all our social media platforms so that when we drop videos like this, you get to receive our notifications. Well, before we discuss with people on the streets, let's first look into the newspapers. Today being the last day of April, Tuesday 2024. We will see at the Punch newspaper, it says EFCC probes 1,146 frozen accounts for money laundering. Details is found on page 2. Federal government begins fresh bid rounds for oil blocks. Details is found on page 30. Customers panic as CBN bans OPay, PalmPay, orders new accounts. Details is found on page 29. Edo workers hail Obaseki over 70,000 naira minimum wage. Details is found on page 9. And at the main story here, we could see it says petrol hits 800 naira as 240 million litre vessel arrive. Sub-story under that reads 5 tanker vessels offloading PMS as Lagos port. Independent marketers sell over 800 naira per litre. Details is found on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. And at the bottom story is here, we see it says fears spread in Enugu communities as gunmen kill 4 mourners. Details is found on page 8. $2.4 billion forex claims fictitious, says CBN. Details is found on page 37. Rivers wedding guest beats police women to death. I take that again. It says Rivers wedding guest beats police woman to death. 16 arrested. Details is found on page 4 and 5. Edo poll. Obi group threatens to work against PDP. Details is found on page 28. And that's all we'll be taking on the Punch newspaper. And moving on, we'll be looking at the Nation's newspaper. We could see here it says how I received $600,000 for Emefiele, Ex-Cbn director tells court. Details is found on page 4. Suspected headers kill 3 mourners, farmers in Enugu. Details is found on page 4. Police arrest 16 over killing of female inspectors in Rivers. NERC adjusts meter prices to 1,975 naira 16 kobo. Details is found on page 4. Finidin's Super Eagles coach. Details is found on page 31. Tribunal stops multi-choice rates hike. Details is found on page 3. The main story on the Nations reads money laundering probe. EFCC swoops on 1,146 bank accounts. Sub-story under that reads court okays freezing of accounts for unauthorized forex dealings, terrorism financing. Details is found on page 2. Petrol scarcity leaves Nigerians stranded. Sub-story under that reads queues linger in Lagos, Abuja, major cities. And that's all we'll be taking on the Nation's newspaper. And lastly for today, we'll be looking at the Sun newspaper here. We could see it says forex crisis. Court okays EFCC's request to freeze 1,146 accounts. Details is found on page 5. The main story on the Sun says Nimbo killing. Enough is enough. Governor Mbastom's community mourn mothers of 4. Vows to end bloodletting. Details is found on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Sun newspaper. 2 site workers killed as bridge collapses in Ebonyi. Details is found on page 4. Sad one. JAMB releases UTME result. 1.8 million candidates to write May-June 2024 WAEC. Details is found on page 6 and 28. Fuel scarcity grounds Abuja, Lagos, others. Details is found on page 25. EFCC disperses pro-Yaya Bellows protesters. Details is found on page 5. Senators reject electricity tariff hike. Details is found on page 6. And that's all we're taking on the Daily Sun, and that's all we're taking on the dailies for today. Now let's get to see the reactions of people on the street. Let's get to hear what they have to say as regards these headlines making rounds on the papers. Stay tuned. Good morning.
Good morning, man.
Yeah, welcome. I would like your thoughts on the Nation that says it's about this Emefiele's case, the ex-CBN governor. Now, the ex-CBN director, 2 X's, now they are saying that he was testifying in court that he received $600,000 from contractors for Emefiele. It was an indirect payment, but the money was for Emefiele. Remember that Emefiele was in court proving that he was saying that he is not guilty of the charges and that he should be tried in court. Now somebody is coming to justify and testify against him that they received money for him, and that is misappropriation of funds for his kind of office.
When police is when our police personnel are out to arrest you, just like we learned in our Nigerian movies, they will say you're under arrest. Whatever you say or do will be used against you in a court of law. So you're permitted to remain silent. So at this point, Emefiele refused to remain.
Silence is golden.
Silence is golden at this point, but he refused to remain silent.
And maybe he was sure of his plans and his backings and his cabals. Remember, he has cabals.
Obviously, every single body has cabals, but it looks as if of late the cabals are losing strength.
They are letting him be.
They are letting him be, and they are doing it the Nigerian way. Nothing concern me again.
OYO on your own.
On your own, or this one, your own. But it is also quite unfortunate that at this point, in as much as we know that we are hashtagging Emefiele and he's being used as a scapegoat. This is actually like personally I would say it is because I know he did not work alone. He did not work alone. So at this point where he's being used as a scapegoat, should I say it's sympathetic at this point. And secondly, I would also want to say for the fact that somebody is actually out to say, because each time they talk about Emefiele, I still remember one of the pictures we saw on our newspaper headline that he was holding a very big Bible, and that's like trying to prove to Nigerians that he's innocent. But at this point, somebody is actually coming out to say that $600,000 was siphoned into his own account in regards to Emefiele. It is quite sad because at this point, I'm wondering what his lawyer will be saying to defend him at this point. So it is very sad because it all boils back to what affects us as a country. Our ability to be transparent in the things we do, in the words we say. Remember, just like I said, whatever you say or do will be used against you, no matter how long it takes. Now, see the span of how many months? 6 months, and finally somebody is coming out to testify. And Emefiele has for this.
More might still come out if this person is safeguarded.
It's not might still come out. They will still come out as long as you know in Nigeria where we are used to, okay, let this person go first. You go and try. If he walks out. So at this point now, I feel for this one person that has come out, he has actually built enough arsenals for others to join. There are more to this Emefiele's case. There are so many persons. Like I'm trying to imagine it as should I say a bus that is stacked with passengers. Emefiele didn't pilot this bus alone. He didn't take this bus. So there are so many persons in this bus. For the fact that out of 24 sitters, we're having one person coming out to testify. Let's still wait for the rest to 23, and I bet you more and more we will still be unveiled. As long as somebody is out testify, this is like a very minimum amount we'll be hearing. The next we'll be hearing will be something higher than this. This is actually a great step to actually ending this Emefiele's case, because as Nigerians we are tired of this case, man. It has lingered for too long. So this is a perfect development, and it therefore tells that Emefiele has been lying to us
a very long time.
A very long time. So whatever he said before now be counted as a lie. So this is like a fresh case that's been started upon his head. And I remember, I could remember like early this month, there was another case like quite different from what we've been hearing to this one now. So it looks as if it keeps unfolding all the time. But we hope and pray that this particular case, Emefiele's case, gets to an end, because this series is too much.
Well, as Nigerians, we know Emefiele offended a lot of people. A lot of people are angry at him because of what happened during the new Naira design policy time, during the election period. So don't you think that this might be a setup to like maybe rope him more to at least face the tune of the Lord.
Okay, at this point,
You know, Nigerians are capable of doing such also.
yes, it is. I'm trying to remember a very popular quote that says, "It is divine for men to forgive." There's a popular quote like that. To forgive, yes, to err is human and to forgive is divine. So I am not urging Nigerians to actually forgive and forget, but this is not the first time we're having issues like this. We should let Emefiele rest. That man not to try, he not to suffer. He has actually paid for his sins. Like, I know he stressed us as Nigerians, but over time he has paid for his sin. It's enough. So, personally, like this is a human being that has been stressed. He has faced it. He has tried. Like he himself doesn't say I fuck up. At this point, he knows saying fuck up. So please, let's just allow let this. In as much as we know that we're not leaving room for others to, we're using him to teach others a lesson because
a scapegoat,
a very perfect, a white scapegoat at that, because they have dealt with him. So I know of late now some persons have actually fall down their ego. They don't want to fly again because they don't want to end up like Emefiele. But I feel at some point justice yes, to actually take his course, in as much as we want this case to come to an end, because so that it will not look as if looking at it from another angle. You know, every government has a storyline.
Exactly.
Every government writes a script. So we're tired of reading the script, sir. Can we move forward to the next chapter?
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, this is where we draw our curtains for today. You've heard everything that has been discussed here. You heard what people on the streets have to say as regard these headlines making rounds on the papers. You out there can also be a participant of this show. If you have anything to add to it, please slide to our comment section and drop your comments. Of course, we'd like to hear from you. And please subscribe to our channel if you're yet to subscribe. Turn on your notification button. Connect with us across all our social media platforms. So that we'll drop videos like this, you get to receive our notifications consecutively. Yes, my name is Obed Jerry, your host for today, and this has been the newspaper review here on TAF TV. I'll see you next time.